Hello and welcome. This is Michelle with PaperStampInk. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel today, where I love to share all things paper crafts. That could be cards, it could be 3D projects, or craft fair or gift items. I love to just share, and I hope that you are going to enjoy this project today. I'm going to talk about simple stamping and stepped up stamping. So I've got two samples here, and we're going to do the third one together. Let me share with you for right now the stamp set that I'm using is Timeless Tulips, and I started with the simple card, and I love that it's got the variation built into the stamp, so you get that different shading levels there, so a little bit more realistic look. But I did just a very simple card, and so sometimes that's all you need. We can get all caught up in the bells and whistles. I definitely can. I love the bells and the whistles, especially the bling. So it's a challenge for me sometimes to do a simple card and a one-layer card. But this is still a beautiful card, and it's all done just on the one layer with 3 colors of ink. So if you're starting out, don't be intimidated by these cards that have tons of things on them. You can do very simple cards that are going to be well received and much appreciated by the recipient. So this one I've stepped up a little bit, and this doesn't require much more than your basic tools. The couple of things that I did additional on here was I did a matting layer of black. I added some ribbon, and that is this mini striped ribbon with a gorgeous grape. I love that. And then I popped this up using some foam tape. So that's the difference on here, and then I put the sentiment down at the bottom. So that's our stepped up level, mid-level card, and we're going to do the all blinged out card today. So if you have lots of the tools and things like punches and stuff, then you can do a little bit more, but hey, it takes time to get all of those things. So if you don't have them right now, don't feel like you've got to go out and get everything right away. It takes time. I know when I first started, I was like, I wanted everything because I saw all these tutorials. So that's why I like to share some simple ones with you guys from time to time as well. So I'm going to bring in here, we've got our card base. I've got a black matting layer, and then I have the white layer that we're going to stamp on. So the card base is our standard size card base. The matting layer of black is 4 by 5 1/4, and the white is 3 3/4 by 5. And let me get a piece of scrap paper here. I just need something because we're going to actually stamp off the bottom here. So I want to lay that out. And I'm using a lot of the stamps from the set. We're going to use this large tulip, this small tulip, both of the stems. Now you'll see this one's straight, but you can bend it. And I actually bent mine to get a curve that went the other direction. So that's the nice thing with these stamps is you can actually, the photopolymer stamps, they can bend for you. And then I'm also using one of the leaves. I selected this one in the middle there, and you can actually stamp them either direction and they still look great. And then we're using the sentiment, what a beautiful difference one single life makes. All right, so that's all of our bits and pieces, and for the inks I'm using Gorgeous Grape and Pear Pizzazz. Let's go ahead and get started stamping. So I'm so excited because I got, if you've been following my channel, you know that I recently decided to branch out from Stampin' Up. So I know this is still Stampin' Up stuff because I do love their products. But I'm branching out and trying some new items, and I just got my kits in for a couple of different companies' monthly stamping kits. So that is going to be a lot of fun to share that with you guys. Let's see. I'm trying to not have any bump underneath these flowers here. So I'm going to put this one about right there. And this one up here. So there was a little fuzzy on my stamp. You might have noticed that on that larger one, and you know what, I'm going to let that go and be okay with it. Now if that bothered you, you could bring in your Stampin' marker and fill that in. So I'll go ahead and show that so you can see that, how nice it is to have the different coloring tools. If you didn't have this, and we'll see if that dries light enough. If not, I might still cover that up with some of my favorite bling. But if you don't have that, if you have the inks, a blending tool works great too. You can pick up any color with one of the blending pens, and so those are very versatile, and I love having those around. Let's go ahead and get our Pear Pizzazz out, and I'm going to stamp my two stems here, and this is where I want to have this, where I'm going off the edge. And I'm trying to do this without getting my head in the camera. Can be a challenge sometimes with some of these, lining them up. I want to get these stems to where they're almost looking like they're coming from one bunch there, and then I want this third one to be angling from the other side. And let's bring that in right there. And we've got our 3 stems. So this comes together really easily, actually. And then I'm going to put my leaves in here, and we'll go with this one first because it's the easiest to get to. I'm going to put one on that one, and let's put one down in this corner from this one, and I think I'm actually going to come in from the bottom there, and then I'm going to put a third one in between. And I put these a little bit closer than on my other cards, so I didn't leave as much gap, and I don't know that I want to put another leaf in there. I think it's going to be a little too crowded, and I don't want to mess with masking and having, you know, to mask something off so it looks like it's going behind. So we're just going to stick with the 3 for this one. And this I'm going to mat right onto our black. Now this comes with a punch, so we're going to do some additional stamping on another scrap piece of paper here. So we're going to give this dimension in another way. So I'm going to bring back out my gorgeous grape and my flowers. Trying to do this without getting ink all over my fingers. I don't know why I'm trying, because you know I end up with ink. Oh, and let's get that little fuzzy off of there. Bring in my Stampin' Chamois. Clean that off so we don't get that spot on there again. Make sure I don't have any little fuzzies floating around in the craft room sometimes. All right, so I'm going to come in and I'm going to punch this one out. And the stamp, or the punch, only has the large tulip. So I'm just going to do the one. Come in here and we'll get this lined up. That's what I love with the punches. You can see exactly where it's going to go. It does have the leaves, but I just want to pop up this one element there. And I'm getting particular because I didn't line that up as well as I would like to. So I'm going to come and give it a little bit of a trim so there's not quite as much white on the one side. So you'll notice when I'm fuzzy cutting, I am doing more moving the paper than the scissors, and that's going to help you get a little bit cleaner, smoother cut. So let's come in with that tape, and I'm going to mount this, pop this one up. Let's see if I got that. Oh, just right. I thought maybe I had it a little too long. So I love this tape for bigger pieces. I like my dimensionals for smaller pieces, but I do like to use this tape for large pieces. And let's go ahead and get our sentiment taken care of. And I'm going to do that in the Memento Tuxedo Black. And I got to tell you, I think sometimes, you know, the simple cards can be actually the more difficult ones in some ways, because there's not a whole lot of space to hide any flaws, whereas when you're stamping your sentiment on a scrap piece of paper, if you mess up, you just stamp another one. And I'm going to come in with this pretty label punch. And we're going to pop this up with a little scrap of black. Get your leftover on my other table. There we go. So I'm going to do a piece of the black. We don't have a punch out there that layers this one. I wish that there were more layered specialty punches. Like, you can get layered punches in circles and stuff, but I haven't seen much in the way of like the fancier shapes. So, you know, hey, if you guys know of some out there, I'd love to hear what some of your favorites are. Like this one, I would love if there was a little bit bigger one, but we're going to make it work by just cutting that in half, the piece of black, and putting it on the back here. And get that on and do a little zhuzhing. This one I slid when I put that second piece on. So I'm going to have to take that off and put a little bit more adhesive on there. Gives you some wiggle room, but not for too long if you're not paying attention there. All right. That's a little bit better. And so that just gives us a little bit of a mat on our sentiment. And I'm going to come back in with some tape, foam tape, and we're going to pop this up off of our card panel as well. And I've got to bring some of that gorgeous ribbon back in. And it's going to go a little bit over that tulip, but that's okay. So give me a thumbs up if you like tulips. I just think they're such happy flowers. I am hoping to get some planted. I moved into a new home and I'm working on the garden, and hoping to get some tulips put in for next year. And they're just kind of tulips and daffodils. To me, those just say spring. Let's cut a little piece of ribbon. I'm going to do my cheat. Instead of trying to tie that knot on the front, I'm just going to wrap this around and then bring another piece in to tie the knot. Tear my pieces of tape off here first. All right. I think I want it about there, and on the lower part. And get that first part taped down, pull it good and tight. This works so much easier than getting a liquid adhesive or even those tape runners. To me, I just think the tear and tape or score tape is your best option for holding these down. And you don't even have to take time to peel that back off because it doesn't matter. And I'm just going to take that little scrap of ribbon and tie my knot and give these ends a little trim. There we go. And let's get this on our card base. You know, I've already got a lot of dimension. I don't think that I'm going to put this up on foam tape as well. And this ribbon is really thin, so I think we're going to be okay without popping it up. We'll see. We're doing this together on this one. So I don't always, sometimes I come to these videos with kind of an idea of what I want to do, but I don't always have it totally planned out. I'm going to bring in some of these beautiful glitter enamel dots because, you know, gotta have the bling. And let's see. I'm going to put one up there, and we're going to do the graduated sizes. I was thinking about lining them up, but I think I'm going to just kind of do them a little more haphazard there. And there we have our final stepped up, our third level stepped up card. So as you can see, you can do a lot of different things with a little bit of extra supplies. And this is really just ribbon, cutting things down and giving some dimension behind. And then this one, we've just added the punch, a couple of punches, and a little bit of bling. So these are all really fairly simple cards as far as the process goes, but I think that they're beautiful cards. And I'm sorry, I've got that out of camera there. I hope I wasn't out too much during this video. I'll take a look at that, and I apologize if I was off camera for some of that video. So these are 3 cards. Let me know which one you prefer, and I'm going to link the supplies down below. And look forward to my next videos where I'm going to be showing some of, probably this weekend, hopefully I'll be able to get into some of those kits and share some ideas with you from some of the other great companies that are out there. Until we meet again, make sure you grab your paper, stamp, and ink and do something creative.